Hi everyone, I am Tara, aka Spirit Mother, and I would like to welcome you all back to my channel on YouTube, Spirit to Spirit Teaches Going Within Self, on TikTok, 1974 Enlightened Soul, and I'm also live on my Facebook if you're on there. Some of you know what my channel is about, and some of you don't, and today I'm talking about when to go for therapy, okay? Because going for therapy is a big thing for many people, myself included, right? And anytime I went to therapy, it was of my own asking. Anytime I went to the psychiatric unit, I went myself. Okay. The only time that I didn't go myself was in 99 when I was bored and the police took me to the hospital. And then they put me in there under the care of, like, my mother would have to sign everything. Now, confirmation coming up right now. Plus, I drank some of the kombucha. It's that part, yeah, I know. In this one, you can't hardly see because it's not very bright. Now, when I went for therapy in 2020, okay, it was when I ended up in the psychiatric unit the first time since basically since 9, okay? So in 2020 when it happened, sorry, it was 2021 that I went to the psychiatric unit. In 2020, when it first started happening, I started going through it and I started connecting, but it wasn't the way it had been when it came 2021, because I was living in the city, my own apartment and what have you. And things were going, I wasn't a lot of drama or anything like that. And then I come out here and the drama started. Okay. And I was at, I live next to a cemetery, so I know that there's probably people that use, the cemetery to throw shit at me. My ex-husband said today, the curses and all this stuff only works on people who believe in it. It's like, well, is that true? Because wait a minute, I recall you telling me that. I recall my ex-husband, this is a spirit to spirit, so he knows I'm talking to him. How do I explain it? He tells me that curses are only if you believe them, okay? But he always told me that his family believed there was curse on them. Even his father would say that. So it's that part, like, seriously? Okay. Now, today I was sitting down here and he was mowing the lawn. For some strange reason, he come down here once and then went back up again. But then he come over at his balcony and he says down to me about the battery dying. He had to stop. He did some mowing and he had to stop because the battery died. So he was pulling some weeds. Okay. And I looked at him and I was like, because I was confused because he had just bought a battery for the lawn tractor. And when I said, well, I thought you just bought a battery for the lawn tractor. He goes like this, gets disgusted and starts walking away and said, what are you doing? Trying to get me to kill somebody? Dude, you really need therapy. Ones like that. if they're saying that to you, they really need therapy. And they're telling you, he tells me that I need the therapy? No. I'm reacting to you because I'm constantly in defense mode, which, that's why you don't see a lot of my feminine aspects, because I have a lot of them. I have a lot of kid inside me, but I'm working with an adolescent child who, people would say, just go away. If you have any familiarity with regards to the awakening, with regards to parallel worlds, yourself, what have you, multiverses and what have you, I've said it many times. It's like I'm up against my son, but he's older. It's like I've gone ahead in time. And to some, that won't make sense. And they'd say, well, you are the one that needs therapy. No, I'm the one with the understanding. I'm not the one saying or blaming somebody else because I feel like going and hurting someone. You don't wait for a specialist for therapy. You go to fucking therapy. And I can see where a lot of people, when it comes to therapy, they're hesitant because of the labels, which they shouldn't be allowed to put those labels on you the way they do, because every time you go in there, well, they stick a label on you. You could have a cramp in your ass and they'd say you had histrionics. So I understand where people are coming when it comes to therapy, because I was the same way. I've been to therapy a number of times, and there has only been like one or two that I was comfortable with, but in the end I didn't trust them. Like yesterday I went to my therapy and he asked the question about yeah, I will in a minute. Ask the question about medication, what it does to a person who's in their spiritual awakening, like that's experiencing what they perceive in the medical community as being a psychosis. Okay. He asked, like, what does that do to people's body? I told them it hurts them. It dumbs it down, but it hurts them in the end, because in the end, it's not going to suppress it. It's not going to, it's only going to hurt the person's body. And that's exactly what I told him. Because it was like he was trying to convince me that, maybe you should go on some medication to dumb it down a little bit. And that's the words he used, dumb it down. It's like, seriously, you're dumbing down spirit? What the fuck is wrong with you? So those are the things that cause me to lose any form of respect for a therapist. Because that's where you're not listening to your patient. You're more focused back on the programming, because you have to go by certain guidelines because the program tells you. My question is, when are you going to step out of that programming if you call yourself a healer or a therapist? Psychiatrist, that's just a big word for psychosomatic. They're the ones that need therapy. I will say it. Mental health leads back to a lack of spiritual health. So you want a real therapist, a real healer? Go to a spiritual therapist who understands what it is that I'm explaining to you. Shaman, some priests or pastors or reverends or rabbis, they know this. It was the Catholic Church that performed my exorcism. It gave it the shock, but I still had to work through what caused it. We feel shame. Sometimes we feel shame if we have to go for therapy. Well, that's the stigmata of it. It's other people trying to throw shame on you, because if they were in the same situation, they probably wouldn't go, because they'd be ashamed of their own needing help, needing guidance, needing somebody that will just sit with them. But I know sometimes they're really fucking irritating and patronizing. See, some men won't go to a female therapist because they say that, well, the female therapists don't know what they're going through. And do you think that a lot of women really feel comfortable going with a male therapist? I will do a part 2 to this because my cell phone just went out. So I'm not on TikTok right now. So I will be back. Kita por aquí estaré. Shit. Once I can find the arrow. There it is.